the door that never closed. The village of Black Hollow was quiet in a way that felt wrong. Not peaceful. Not calm. Just watching. A cold wind moved through the empty streets even though it was summer. Doors were shut. Windows were dark. People prayed inside their homes, but their hearts were far away. And above everything stood the old mosque. Its minaret was cracked. Its call to prayer hadn't been heard for years. The man who returned. After 12 years, Daniel Cross came back. He was no longer the boy who left the village full of faith and dreams. He returned with tired eyes, heavy sins, and a heart that had forgotten how to feel regret. Daniel had once believed in God. Now he believed only in survival. He parked his car near the graveyard. As soon as he stepped out, the wind stopped. Complete silence. "Still dead," he whispered, looking around. Just like before. He didn't notice the old man watching him from behind the broken mosque wall. The forgotten warning. Years ago, this village was alive. People prayed together. They reminded each other of truth. They warned each other when wrong became normal. But slowly, things changed. People lied openly. They cheated without shame. They prayed with their tongues, not their hearts. And when reminders came, they laughed. God is forgiving, they said. He will not punish us. That was when the warning stopped. A house full of shadows. Daniel entered his childhood home. Dust covered everything. Family photos stared at him like silent judges. His mother had begged him not to leave years ago. Running doesn't erase sins, she had said. Repentance does. He remembered laughing. Now, standing alone, her voice echoed in his head. That night, Daniel slept on the floor. At 3:17 a.m., he woke up. Someone was knocking. Slow. Heavy. Intentional. The visitor. Daniel opened the door. No one was there. But on the ground lay an old Quran, covered in dust, open to a page marked in red. A verse about repentance. A verse about hypocrites. A verse about truth being revealed whether people like it or not. Daniel slammed the door shut. This is just stress, he told himself. But the knocking returned. This time, from inside the house. The first sign. The lights flickered. The mirror in the hallway cracked down the middle. In his reflection, Daniel saw something behind him. A figure. Faceless. Motionless. When he turned around, nothing. But the mirror now showed words carved into the glass. The door of repentance is still open, but not forever. Daniel fell to his knees. For the first time in years, fear entered his heart. Not fear of death. Fear of truth. Morning brings no peace. At dawn, Daniel went to the mosque. The old man from before stood there. You came back late, the man said calmly. Daniel swallowed. Late for what? For repentance. The man pointed toward the village. Some doors close quietly, he said. Others close with screams. When truth starts speaking, the call that should not exist, the adhan echoed again. Clear. Loud. Alive. Daniel stood frozen in the mosque courtyard. The cracked minaret should not have been able to carry sound. Birds flew away in panic, circling the sky like they sensed something unseen. Who is calling the prayer? Daniel asked. The old man did not answer immediately. His eyes were fixed on the mosque door, as if he expected it to open on its own. No one, he said finally. And everyone. Daniel felt a chill crawl up his spine. Inside the mosque. They stepped inside. Dust covered the prayer mats. Cobwebs hung like veils. Yet the air felt heavy, charged, like the moment before a storm. Daniel noticed something strange. Footprints. Fresh ones. Hundreds of them. All facing the Qibla. But no one lives here anymore, Daniel whispered. The old man turned to him slowly. Are you sure? The people who never left. As if summoned by his words, doors around the mosque began opening. One by one, villagers stepped out. Men, women, young, old. Faces Daniel remembered, and some he didn't. But something was wrong. Their eyes were empty, their movements stiff, their smiles forced. These people moved away, Daniel said. Some of them died. The old man replied quietly. Bodies move away. Deeds stay. The prayer of lies. The villagers lined up to pray. Daniel stood at the back, heart pounding. When they bowed, their backs did not bend properly. When they prostrated, their heads never fully touched the ground. Their lips moved, but no sound came out. A prayer without sincerity. A ritual without repentance. Daniel remembered a verse his mother used to recite. They stand for prayer lazily, showing people. His chest tightened. The first revelation. During sujud, Daniel felt a hand press on his back. Cold. Heavy. A voice whispered directly into his heart. You ran from truth. But truth followed you. Daniel screamed and stood up. The villagers froze. All of them turned their heads toward him at the same time. Their eyes were now black. Secrets begin to surface. One man stepped forward. Daniel recognized him. Mr. Halim, the respected shopkeeper. You remember me as honest, the man said, his voice echoing unnaturally. But I cheated the poor. Another woman came forward. I wore modest clothes, she said. But my heart was full of pride. One by one they spoke. Not to Daniel. To themselves. Confessions poured out like blood from open wounds. Daniel realized in horror. This was not punishment yet. This was exposure. The hypocrite's mask. Suddenly, a loud laugh echoed. A man walked in confidently. Pastor Reed, the man who once mocked believers openly while pretending to respect faith. Fear stories won't work on me, he said. God doesn't punish like this. The old man finally raised his voice. Surah at Tawbah was revealed to remove masks, he said. Not to scare, but to clarify. The lights went out. The room of mirrors. Daniel found himself alone. The mosque was gone. He stood in a long hallway filled with mirrors. In each mirror he saw himself, but different versions. One showed him lying, one stealing, one mocking faith, one turning away when reminded of God. You are not better than them, a voice said. Daniel fell to his knees. I know, he cried. I know now. The door appears again. At the end of the hallway stood a door. Same door from his dream. Written on it, repentance is not words. It is surrender. Daniel reached for the handle. Before he could open it, the door cracked. A voice thundered. Not yet. Return to reality. Daniel woke up outside the mosque. The villagers were gone. The mosque was silent again. Only the old man stood beside him. You saw the truth, the man said. But seeing is not accepting. Daniel's eyes filled with tears. What happens now? The old man looked toward the graveyard. Now, he said, the consequences begin. When escape is no longer possible. The name on the stone. Daniel stood in front of the gravestone. The letters of his name were carving themselves, slowly, as if an invisible hand was working with patience. Daniel. The last letters were missing. His breath shook. I'm alive, he whispered. This isn't real. The old man stood behind him. Life is not measured by breathing, he said. It is measured by obedience. The village changes. By sunset, the village no longer looked empty. Shadows moved where people once lived. Windows lit up, then went dark. Sounds of crying echoed, though no mouths could be seen. Daniel walked through the streets. Every house showed a different scene. A man counting money endlessly, screaming but unable to stop. A woman trying to cover her face as mirrors surrounded her. Children calling for parents who would never answer. This is punishment, Daniel said. No, the old man replied. This is reflection. The weight of delay. Daniel remembered how many times he had delayed repentance. Tomorrow. After this. When I'm ready. The old man stopped walking. Delay is the favorite weapon of arrogance, he said. The sky darkened suddenly. A loud crack split the clouds. The screams of the confident. From the center of the village, a fire rose, not burning buildings, but faces appearing inside the flames. Daniel recognized Pastor Reed. He laughed, even now. This is nothing, the voice echoed. I still don't believe. The fire twisted. The laugh turned into choking silence. Then the face vanished. Daniel collapsed. Please, he cried. I believe. The old man looked at him sharply. Belief is easy when fear arrives, he said. Truth is tested before fear. Alone with himself. Daniel was suddenly alone again. No village. No old man. Just darkness. A voice spoke from inside him, not outside. You left faith because it limited you. You loved freedom more than truth. Images flashed before his eyes. People he hurt. Promises he broke. Truths he ignored. Every memory felt heavier than the last. The second door. A door appeared again. This one was different. Cracked. Burned. Almost closed. Above it, written faintly. Few return sincerely. Daniel ran toward it. The ground shook. Hands reached up from the darkness, grabbing his legs. Voices screamed. Stay with us. You're no better. You belong here. He screamed and pulled free. I don't want this life anymore. The old man revealed. The old man appeared in front of the door. For the first time, his face changed. It was younger, stronger, clear. Who are you? Daniel asked. I am a reminder, he replied, and a witness. Are you human? The man smiled sadly. I was. The choice. The door began closing. Slowly, painfully. The name on the gravestone flashed in Daniel's mind. Incomplete. The old man spoke firmly now. Repentance is not fear, he said. It is surrender without conditions. Daniel dropped to the ground. Not crying loudly. Not begging. Just silent tears. I accept, he whispered. No excuses. The door stopped moving. The door that closes. Dawn without warmth. Morning came, but the sun gave no warmth. Daniel stood in the graveyard, alone. The village was silent, not the empty silence of abandonment, but the heavy silence of judgment completed. He walked toward his gravestone again. His name was still unfinished. The stone felt cold, almost alive. So this is it, he whispered. A voice answered behind him. Not yet. The final test. The old man stood there once more. But now he looked tired. You spoke words of repentance. the man said. Now comes the proof. The ground trembled slightly. The village returned, but changed. People walked freely again, laughing, talking. Life seemed normal. Daniel felt relief wash over him. But the old man raised a hand. Do not be fooled, he warned. Ease is also a test. The temptation to return. Daniel walked through the village. No screams. No shadows. No fear. A man waved at him. Come, sit with us. A woman smiled. Forget the past. Everyone makes mistakes. The same excuses. The same comfort. Daniel felt his heart hesitate. This life was easier. No fear. No struggle. No accountability. The old man's words echoed in his mind. Few return sincerely. The last reminder. Daniel entered the mosque again. This time, it was clean, bright, alive. He stood alone on the prayer mat. No signs. No miracles. Just silence. Is this all? Daniel asked softly. No fear. No proof? A whisper came, not loud, not terrifying. Faith without fear is higher than faith with fear. Daniel bowed, not because he was scared, but because he chose to. The hypocrites revealed. Outside, the village began changing again. Those who prayed only when watched froze in place. Their faces cracked, like broken masks. Inside them, darkness spilled out. They screamed. We prayed. We claimed belief. A voice answered from everywhere. You prayed to be seen. You believed to be safe. The ground opened beneath them. Not violently, quietly. They were gone. The door appears one last time. The door appeared in front of Daniel again. This time, it was almost closed. Light spilled through the narrow opening. The old man stood beside it. This is the last moment, he said. After this, no excuses. Daniel felt fear, but it did not control him. He stepped forward. I don't ask for escape, he said. I ask for forgiveness. The door opened. The final writing. Back in the graveyard, Daniel's gravestone changed. The unfinished name disappeared. In its place were new words. He returned before the door closed. Daniel felt his chest lighten. The old man smiled gently. My task is complete. Will I see you again? Daniel asked. The man faded slowly. Reminders do not stay, his voice echoed. They come and leave. The moral ending. The village of Black Hollow vanished from history. People outside spoke of it as a myth. But sometimes, travelers say they hear a call to prayer in an empty place. A reminder that repentance is open, but not forever. Final message. Daniel left the village. Not perfect, not fearless, but truthful. And that was enough. New Moon Final Moral, inspired by Surah at-Tawbah. Repentance delayed is repentance denied. Hypocrisy is exposed, not hidden. Fear may wake the heart, but only sincerity saves it.